Hiya guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I will be trying to use up some of my scrap yarn and we'll be making a blanket. To make this blanket I will be using this pattern here, which I printed in grayscale by the Creative Grandma. It is the Stitch of the Week 95. I saw this scrolling on Pinterest and I absolutely loved it and I wanted to make a blanket with it. Here is an example square I prepared earlier. I made this one just to test the colours, test the pattern, so I knew what I was doing before I turned on the camera. But here, I will show you the yarn we will be using, and it is all kept within this crate. As all of this is scrap, they don't have the yarn bands around them. I should be able to remember most of them, but there might be a couple I just can't remember. Starting off strong, we have a white Anko yarn, then we have a orange, I think this was Marvel from Spotlight. This is another Anko yarn in a mint before they changed their mint to a really pale colour. This really pale colour, in fact, this is Anko and then again mint, but pale. This is Carice 12 ply. It is slightly fluffy. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick it up on camera. Next we have this pale blue needles, which is a $2 shop type yarn, and although this one doesn't look like a lot, I do have some spares that I will be able to use. But following that colour, once we get it into frame, I have this stallion in a dark blue. I will need to double strand this for it to be the right thickness. I have this one, which is Starlight by Modavera, which again I got from Spotlight. This one, which is another stallion, but in a pale blue. I could not tell you. I think this might be Pebbles. I made a cardigan with that, so that's what is left. This was a miscellaneous blue. Yes, it has the label on the inside. No, I can't remember what it is. And this is again like the Starlight, but quite a lot thinner, so I'm not entirely sure what that one is. Another important fact to note is that they are numbered from 1 through 12 in the order we went through them. We are also using a 4.5mm hook for this project. Now to get into the project itself, I was inspired by Michelle Jasek, I think it is, when she did her Christmas 24 Granny Squares in Christmas, or whatever that series was called, along with Viney Maple. I should really look up the names of people before I start recording, who's done a Roll for Scraps video. I know this sort of idea is commonplace nowadays, but those were the two that inspired me to make my blanket. So as I said before, we have numbers 1 through 12, and I will be rolling a D12 in my little box to tell us what colour we will be using. Now, as a blanket rule, I won't be changing the colours. Whatever it rolls is what it rolls, but there are some rules behind this. For starters, I don't want the same colour showing up twice in any one square, and there are a couple of colours, the white and the really pale mint, that I won't put next to each other because you just won't be able to see the difference in the colours. So those are the two rules I sort of have. Also, if we run out of a yarn, I will just roll again and pick a different colour. I'm not going to do half a row with one colour and half a row with another colour. Although yes, this will be scrappy, that is far too scrappy for my liking. So as I have just done, I rolled the dice and then crocheted with that colour, and then I rolled the dice again and crocheted with that colour, and I will continue that for a total of 6 rows for this sized square. I do have some slightly larger squares, which will be 9 rows, and not in this video because, surprise, surprise, this is going to be a multi-parter. You'd think it was one part with 35 minutes of footage, but no, I'm not even halfway through. I will also do some 3-row squares, I think. That is the plan, at least. So at this point I might, oh hang on, I should mention, if you see flashing coming from the iPad screen, I was watching Markiplier's Redemption FNAF video, so don't be bothered by that, it's just cameras flashing and him getting jump scared. Everything is fine. But I think I might leave you here for the voiceover, put on some music, and I'll jump back in once this square is done. that is another square done and dusted. It didn't take me too long, about an hour in total, and I'm happy with the way it came out. But I think I will be happy with the way all of these come out. I love the colours together. I love the blues. I love the green, slidey greens, the white, and then the pop of orange. I am really happy with how these are coming out so far. Now, so that this video isn't even longer, I did go ahead and make some of these squares off camera. So here I am rolling the colours for integrity so you can see that I did do it. I hope that you trust that I did do it. And then I will pop back in once this square is made so you can see the final results. And here we have the final results. Yep, it's a square. And yep, this is yarn, although I am running dangerously low on my 6th colour. Good thing is I have another ball of this, so I'm not too worried. Now we are moving on to my next square, and this is technically the second one I made, but the first one you will see of the 9-row squares. So let's get into it. Did I make this square from the comfort of my own bed? Yes, I did. Will I do it again? Absolutely. But here is the finished result. I really like the orange on the edge. I think it gives it a real strong pop of colour. But now we are moving on to technically the first 9-row granny square that I made for this video. I just put them in out of order. Now I thought it would be fun, I don't know if you have noticed, I have a couple of different D12s throughout this video. And if you are a smart cookie, you might be able to work out why this is. I am a D&D player. I play D&D once a week. I'm not a die-hard fan, but I am a casual player and I've been enjoying it a lot. So these are all the dice I have for when I play. Also, the box is what I use to store all my dice in. It's lovely. I'm not even going to start going on about that. But this dice here, this red one, I bought for my second character, and it is based off his colour scheme. But we should jump back to the start. I'm just going to tell you about the D&D campaign. Sorry if you don't care, but that is what we are doing. We have too much footage that needs audio, and that is what I have decided I'm going to talk about. Deal with it. Without going into too much of the storyline, the first campaign I was in was titled Tales of Erythia. I was a elvish monk by the name of Rin Hopperfoot, and I loved her to bits. I started off with my blue and purple dice, which you heard I've seen kicking around in this video, before they got upgraded to my flirting dice, and then got upgraded to the Febe dice. Now, if you played the campaign, that would make sense, but that was the person Rin was romancing throughout the entire thing. A little bit of details about Tales of Erythia. It was a homebrew campaign based roughly on Professor Layton, one of the games, I can't remember which one, where we were in a walled city and there were court cases and we were the jury and we had to decide if someone was worthy of passing or failing, and then we had to work out why this thing had been outlawed and that sort of thing. It was a lot of fun. Me and my party member, they were a human wizard. How our DM let him play a wizard for the first time, I have no idea, by the name of Bathold Treveya. No, I am not joking. But I, during this campaign, bought the two liquid core dice, the white purple one with the cats, and the dark galaxy-esque one. Going into our second campaign, I bought this red dice, as I said before, for my new character, Trax Nightford. He is the adopted child of Rin and Faye, who are my previous character and the person she romanced. Trax is a little unpredictable. You never know what he's going to do or what he's going to fight for, but that builds his character, and due to his backstory, that makes a lot of sense. But he is a tiefling warlock monk. So he grew up on the streets, had a tough upbringing before he was adopted by Rin and Faye, who then taught him to slow down, calm down, and that's where the monk aspect came into his life. But as for the two other party members in this campaign, we have Lana, who is a human rogue. I think it's Lana Brown. She took her mother's name, not her father's name. And then we have, I can't remember her name. I would like to clarify, I couldn't remember her surname. I could remember her first name. We have Posey Wilhelmina, who is a halfling bard. And that was Posey's first ever campaign, and I believe she's enjoying it. I can't speak for her myself. But this is Tales of Erythia Part 2 for the campaign, and it's 20 years down the track from our previous campaign. And they are going off gallivanting through Great Orlandia on a ship, looking for things and being diplomats. I don't know why the people of Erythia let a 16, a 17, and a 30-year-old be their diplomats, but they did, and it's moderately entertaining. But I think I've eaten your ear off enough about my D&D. That being said, if you want to hear more, let me know, because I need to make a second part to this video, and I would be more than happy to talk about it. But I think I'll chuck you back into some music, and I'll pop back in when these squares are getting closer to being done. These 9-row squares take me about 2 hours to finish, so considerably longer than the first one does to finish. But I am happy with how they come out. I think they give a good balance between all of the colours. Now for the next 2 squares I decided to record me picking the colours and then I make them off camera just because they take so long and I don't have time to include the footage in this video. But please enjoy this little ASMR moment of me rolling the dice for you. Ignore the chipmunk noises at the end, that is me saying the colours. Here are the 2 squares you saw me just roll for. So we have the orange accent one and then the normal one. And then here are all the squares I was able to finish in this video. Thank you all so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye guys!